officially good morning, happy Monday. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Monday Market Kickoff. My name is Scott. I will be your host. As always, let me remind you that our subscription service is for educational and illustrative purposes only. We do not provide recommendations to buy or sell any securities or financial products. We are not brokers. We're not advisors. We're just a group of like-minded traders here together, working in a collaborative fashion to be the best traders we can be. It doesn't say that in the disclaimers. I just wanted to throw that in there because that's definitely a part of it. Agenda. What are we going to do? Bob Walker, this is his best friend. So we've always been a one-dog family, but now that our kids are gone, we're like, you know what? That he wants to play, so we got a second. And we had been looking for like a specific type of dog, and anyway, it worked out. My son's home right now and can help. My daughter gets home in like 6 weeks, and then she can get some time with the puppy. So we're like, let's just do it. And we got a year and change before our next big trip. So that'll give the dog time to get older before we have to, just the timing was there. Should be interesting. We bought in Sandy. That's literally when we came home. We're like, look what we got you. It was exactly what he loves it too. I'll tell you what. Anyways, all right, let's do it. Empty nesting is an interesting adjustment. I'll be honest. It's an interesting adjustment. Okay, what's going on? Futures are up. So we made a point, right? Let's talk about our posture. If you missed it, and I apologize, you should have gotten an email, but for whatever reason, my post on Circle didn't go through. I came on this morning. I'm like, oh, shit, there it is. So I did post it now, and right before I posted our alert announcement that we're starting soon. But the market posture did drop. Let me pull that up. I lost my train of thought for 1 second. Then all of a sudden I jumped back on. The market posture dropped. One of the concerning parts was we took a little off just based on the inability for the long-term trend for just another time to get up to the high. I just knocked it off. I'm willing to give it back it doesn't take a lot to get it back. So it's like probationary, right? I could put an asterisk next to it. That's a probationary. It doesn't have to make a series of higher highs, higher lows or anything. It just has to get back above a certain point. And then I'll be like, okay, 1.25, you're back in. Short-term trend didn't change for me. I don't know if anyone else had theirs change. Mine didn't change. Volume didn't change. I thought it might have, but just organically, the way some old volume dropped off and what we had with the new volume, still 0.25, minus 0.25. Major market didn't change. Sector rotation dropped. And honestly, based on what we've been seeing in the last, basically since prior to Christmas, I'm shocked it hadn't dropped earlier. Let me know if you agree. But it did finally lose a notch. And it might lose another one depending on, what we see happen as we watch the industrial sector and as we watch the financial sector, which are two of our growth sectors that have shown a bit of concern, right? And then the VIX lost 0.25 point from a higher high from the big breakout we got on Friday, and that brought us to a 4. And we talked a little bit about the context. If I am a 1, then a 2, then a 3, then a 4, that's very different than if I'm a 7, then a 6, then a 5, then a 4. We're actually kind of in the middle of those two. We dropped from 7 to 4, and then we've been sideways from 4 to 5 and back. So it has maintained stability, but we just haven't seen the buyers do anything. So that's where we're at. What does that mean then? Let's translate that into now what? Well, I'm bullish still. Am I strongly bullish? And I'm thinking, man, I can just slap trades on wherever. No. But I'm bullish enough. So if we don't have industrials and financials, what do we have? We have technology. We have communication services. Those are two definites for us. A little bit of consumer discretionary as well. And I'm looking at consumer still kind of as with broad swath. So I'm adding now consumer staples to the mix. How so? Well, that's the next group we're going to search tomorrow night is consumer staples, which is a little bit more defensive, but okay, we're going to be fluid with it. So we also had the thought of, do we see other defensive things start to pop up in addition to consumer discretionary, like the utilities, things like that? Okay. That's the posture, which means what? Well, going back to why I talked about the post not coming up. The post is there now, and your email should be there, which has what? This week's focus list. This still worked out pretty well. Like 20 stocks on there. Some good ones. Some of them are not. I mean, it's not like they're all in setup mode, but there's enough going on that we should still have expectations of being able to put bullish trades on. And then we have this open. Apple making a $500 billion bet on the future of American innovation. And they were already doing well. So what else do we see in the news? If we look at the economic calendar, nothing today. There's no news today. Tomorrow, consumer confidence, expectation. Can't see the screen. Can everybody else see my screen? Yes. Okay. Dan, I'm going to say maybe pop around and look at your Zoom icon at the bottom of your screen to see if that will pop up because the screen share is on. Okay. The consumer confidence is expected to drop, and I don't think any of us are shocked, right? As we look at tariffs and the way that the general public is responding, of course, right? So far, there's not a lot of expectations that we've seen positive progress from those. They're not confidence building, those tariffs. It doesn't seem like many people in the public or in the political atmosphere share the tariff vision. That's probably one of the most baffling things to me about it. It doesn't feel like that's like broad party acceptance. Am I wrong about that? It feels like a personal thing. I don't know. So hopefully we start to see some sort of positive traction as a result of this strategy, and that the market can move. Now we said we think that there's still enough in the bullishness to catch a breakout. Is it going to be a big breakout through the end of April? But this might be the start of it. Why would we not think that? We're bullish. We have a 4. We have 20 stocks on our watch list. Or not on our watch list, sort of like 70 or 80 on our watch list. We have like 20 on our focus list, things that are still showing strength. These are leaders, the types of things that can help push the market into its next momentum move. But yeah, tomorrow we only have Consumer confidence, a bit of Fed speak. Wednesday, nothing. Home sales, no one cares. Bostic speaking, no one cares. If it's not Goolsby, it doesn't matter. Jobless claims, still expected in the low 200s. Durable goods, that's nice. Looks like it's supposed to pop. GDP, second reading, looking to stay at 2.3. I mean, obviously, we'd like to see inflation at 2.3 and GDP at 3. Unfortunately, we see inflation at 3 and GDP at 2.3. So that's the reverse. It's not terrible. It's not like we're in this great, predicament, but it certainly is not the ideal either. A lot more Fed speak Thursday than Friday. Friday's the first time we have something a little bit more viable to market momentum, a little bit that have a little more teeth. We have income and spending, and then we have the Fed's favored PCE. Now, if you look, these are the forecasts here. This one, now personal spending is expected to drop. That's okay. That's actually like one of the necessary factors to help ease inflation is spending to pull back a little bit. Income is supposed to tick up. That's good. PCE flat. PCE year over year from 2.6 to 2.4. That would be fantastic. That would be useful. And if they even got a surprise like 2.3, you're like, oh, well, goodness gracious. Core PCE, however, is supposed to tick up from 0.2 to 0.3. Core PCE over year, 2.8 to 2.6. That's what we're looking for. It's not terrible. 2.4, 2.6. It's not terrible, but it's not where it needs to be either. And so because jobs are staying strong, because GDP is still at 2.3, because all of these other economic factors have the strength that they have, that's what is giving the Fed the fuel to stay the course. They're like, we're okay. We don't need to, right? They don't need to cut rates. It wouldn't be beneficial. It might benefit the stock market in the short term, and then, ensure we have pervasive inflation for years to come, right? So, obviously, that's not the objective here. Real quick, I know the market just opened. Let's take a look. Then we'll come back to this. Let's go take a look at SPY. All right, it's up 0.5%. So trying to stabilize on top of this 50. Trying to stabilize in context of this short-term trend that held already last week, even with that big candle on Friday. And now we have a little bit of an inside day here. So yeah, okay. Is this like, hey, we're sure everything looks great? No, we're 2 minutes in. We are 2 minutes in. Okay, let's go look around. I do want to see also, we'll go back to the Fed. I do want to see the VIX. Yeah. If when we pop, we're popping to 18, 20 at the highest, that's not bad. That's a pretty stable VIX. Right? And so, yeah, we'll see what happens here. I think we already said there could be a couple signals even early in the week this week. Questions, comments, concerns about anything we've seen or done so far, let me know. I want to just take a quick peek at Fed expectations. We're now 3 weeks and change, 3 weeks from Wednesday from the next announcement. And obviously nobody in March thinks it's going anywhere, 2.5%. When you jump to May, it's still 3-1 against. So you've got now about 23% 23% of the people who say, yeah, now there might be a cut in May. I believe those are the wishful thinkers. Anyone in our crew in May, let me know. Let's get a consensus in our group where we think that next cut's going to be. June, I think we're maybe. So I was in the June camp for a little bit. I don't think it's wishful thinking, but I would say hopeful. And I don't know. I'm kind of thinking July for myself. I'm kind of thinking July. But June is the first time we have 10% of people who think there's a second cut. 47% think a first cut, so 57 to 41. 57 to 41 in favor of a cut. So June is the first time the market thinks there's going to be a cut. I put myself here in July. And you can see in July, there's still 31% of people who think, nah, it's not going to happen. Remember that the Fed thinks two. The Fed thinks two cuts, unlikely to get them in either of the next two meetings, which leaves 5. 2 out of 5. All right, that's the Fed scenario. Let's go look. And you can see sellers coming in already. Let's go look at our opening range. Tried to go up, couldn't really do it, pulled back. Now it's selling off. Is there a chance it comes down here and tests this 600 support level? Yeah, 100%. I would very much expect. Maybe even test a little below it, possibly. Possibly. Bob says, I see more inflation with the tariffs. Yeah, unfortunately. I don't know how many of them have actually been put into place. Is it some 10%ers against China? What's actually been put into place? I feel like there's been a lot of blustering, but I don't know that I'm even familiar with. Have any tariffs actually been put on? Have any retaliatory tariffs been put on? Also, I think it's pretty funny that Canada's going to put tariffs on Tesla. Miguel, did we? I thought we probationed them, Miguel. I thought they said they're gonna now wait for 30 days and see if there's some I'm not quite sure again what the objective was. If there was a bad trade deal, if we are getting ripped off, as he says, and there's a bad trade deal in place, my question is, who negotiated that trade deal? 30 days are almost up already. Will I be able to look at the shortened market? Like Dan, you mean like a 5-minute chart? The one I'm on? Just like an intraday? Yeah, I'll take a quick peek while we're here. First Solar. Whoa, First Solar took it this first few minutes. They got hit for the first 5. Now they're trying to stabilize, down about 2.5%. They opened pretty flat, actually. So there. The VIX on the 5-minute. Hell yes, you guys. Why not? Let's jump around and see it all. So you can see the VIX popped. No chance to rescue. Yeah, it doesn't look great. I would have to agree with your assessment. You can see that we're pushing up a little bit here, but if we stay at this 18, if we don't hit that 19, I don't know, maybe. All right, let's go through our watch list. Let's just kind of see, what does the market think about Apple's huge investment? I mean, Apple's great. It's just been kind of sitting here grinding for a week. Stochastics is pinched, is turning over. I mean, honestly, I'd love it to pull back to 240. Miguel probably agrees with me. He'd like to see it there for new trade. Just to want something to latch onto. I don't want to just sit and wait, look at this and be like, maybe I should do something. What, oh yeah? What? Amazon. Amazon. I'm excommunicado. It was too much. If it would have held, like even this day here, I might have been able to give it some grace. But now we're way down here, and you can just sometimes, like when we're doing this little, is it a pullback or is it a consolidation? Right? Like this, definitely a pullback if that would have formed. This to me is like, that's a little iffy. It could be that next day, but then when you get here, then all of a sudden you look and you're like, oh yeah, that's a consolidation line. Right? And then what? And then we think, well, what if it breaks out, pulls back, then it's broken the consolidation. And we're ready to go. Okay, looks good. Okay, currently several tariffs. Steel and aluminum, 25% on aluminum, and that's China, right? Additional 25% on Canada and Mexico, 10 on China. But the 25 on Canada and Mexico are currently frozen, right? And then, yeah. Anyways. Okay. All right. Can't even keep track of it. Right? Press, that's good recognition of that. Okay, so we said, what if App 11? I put it on my list. What if it can stabilize and not completely fill that gap? Oh, well. Starting to make that argument, it seems. Alibaba pulling back. Here's the thing about Alibaba. It is a shark frenzy. It's gone parabolic. You can see the steepness of its angle and the way that it pushes higher in that percentage fashion, where it shot from 100 to, it was like 45% in a matter of 3 weeks. There could be another wave of this parabolic move, which would be extremely enticing. Or could shark frenzy back down? That's how shark frenzies work. Shark frenzy is a technical term. It's not. We made it up. Okay. Bank of America. All right. We're seeing some stability in financials, which would be great. But again, for me, they've gone consolidation, which means I'm waiting for this. I'm not trying to call bottoms here. Right? I'd call the next bottom if it was a higher bottom than the previous bottom. BX, same. Caterpillar, nothing there yet. Sienna, I'd love to see this hold at the end of the day here and then bounce the next day. That would be fantastic, and I would consider a maybe there. That's on my list for a maybe. We'll see. CLS, no. It's a little lower than the other. CME, yes, but it needs to pull back. Although actually, that's you could. I mean, we could see one of two things happen. It could pull back like this and just give a standard pullback, or it could break the current. It's not in a pennant or a flag. It's in more of a pennant. You can see, and some people might say, "Is that a triangle?" Well, triangle and pennant are kind of the same thing. Just triangles tend to be broader, meaning weeks, not days. So if this were to pop here, then I'd probably end up with a stop maybe through here and a target up here and say, all right, there's my next trade. So this one's at the starting line. It's revving its engine. We'll see if something happens. Cisco. I think Cisco looks great. Here's a question. If I put a Cisco alert out, would anyone balk? Would anyone be like, Scott, why are you putting a bullish trade on Cisco? I'd be like, I'm thinking, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. So we'll see if we get the signal. This is definitely in a great setup mode, as is CME. Delta, not as much. The Dow, no. Duke Energy, kind of hitting some resistance up here near the old high. Fastenal, nothing for me there yet. FHN, maybe. Flex, maybe. I don't know. Fox needs a pullback. GBTC. You'll notice, like, when the market's bullish, everything just kind of cycles well. And there's like this sector goes and then this sector. Everything's just smooth. And when we lose our 6 and 7 market and we're trading in a 4 to 5 like wavering market, you're like, oh, it's just not as good. GE Vernova. Oh yeah, that thing is struggling. If it can't hang on to this level around 320 or so, where it's at, 250 is its next little consolidation zone for me. That's a pretty big drop from there. Gold is trying to hang on to highs, but there's nothing there for new trades. Google, no. Goldman Sachs. I would actually still consider a trade on Goldman as a leader. Broke this low, but not this one, which is going to correspond with this 50. So if this holds here and turns, I think we should think about that, because we don't want to just be like, we're not going to do anything with financials. Financials makes a move. It could be a great move. I want to think about something in place. Not a lot of financials, but something. What's the best one that can help lead us? Well, there's one. I think that looks great. What time is it? Oh, we're doing great. Robinhood? Yeah, maybe. HT World Group Limited, ADR. Looks great. Big breakout. Higher high. Pull back. Little flaggish type pattern. I see opportunities here. Howmet setting up. Had a great earnings report down here. Boom. Busted. Pulling back. Old support. Old resistance. Trying to become new support. If this thing hits around and then turns. This thing turns. Would we think about a trade right there? Yeah, I think so. I don't know why that wasn't on my list from this week, but I'm adding it now. How did we miss that? What didn't I not like about that? That's weird. IBM on my list. Even though it hit this, as long as I still get this, then I can say, hey, I'm just trading into this, triangle pattern coming up here. IP, it's on my list, but I'm actually not, I don't know. I'm actually going to add HWM and subtract IP. I don't think I would trade IP in any circumstance this week. IWM trying to hold this well-established support level through here. We're hoping it does. Coca-Cola. I did put it on. So great. That's a start. A couple of days back and turns. Maybe we get something. It's got a little bit of room still before it gets to the high. So, there could be a little something there for us even before the full cup setup. MasterCard on my lists. Credit still looks pretty good. This one in Visa. Meta. Yes. I'd like it where it is. Right through there. But I'm going to give it the 50. So there's my zone where I would be willing to, trade into this. Let's see if Morgan looks like Goldman or if we should switch. Yeah, Goldman's better. Goldman would be the financial trade I would take, or maybe MasterCard / Visa, one or the other of those. Microsoft, no, still looks dogged. NDAQ, no. Netflix, definitely Netflix looks good setting up. It's an expensive stock, though. So, keep that in mind. NVIDIA, actually, it kind of looks like it could be flagging. The only problem is you have an earnings announcement this week, so be aware of that. Anything on someone's list that I've missed, let me know. PLTR. Oof, okay. So, we were hoping maybe it would hold the earnings gap. It has not. Right? That was holding the earnings gap there. The earnings gap is this whole big thing. It's now testing in there. Actually, by the end of the day, if it came back up and it looked like this, that would be holding the gap. Anything could happen. I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see what kind of grace we give PLTR. It was one of our top trades with multiple trades. I think we had 3 in a row plus another one on that in the fall. It was beautiful trading. Had a lot of fun with that thing. You can see all our lines and drawings and whatnot in there. QQQ. Qs look great. Technology looks like, hey, we just made a higher high. We're pulling back. We're ready to go. I think this is a bullish and favorable looking perspective to have technology looking in this fashion. Roblox, a little bit dying here. Reddit, off the list. Did I have it on my list? Nope. It's in consolidation now. Those were some real strong stocks for a good number of months. But coming out of the consolidations, yeah, let's get ready to trade them again. Rocket Lab still dropping. SE setting up. Super overpriced PLTR. Yeah, look. The perspective and way that we're interpreting AI and what it is and going to do and what it means is shifting pretty fluidly. It's interesting to watch. I think SE looks great. That's definitely a favored list. Snow is a no. And it rhymes. That's fun. SO5, no. Here's the SPY. We started bullish, but we've given it back. We're all the way back at the lows. We said, hey, we might test that 600 mark. Well, here we are, testing that 600 mark. 20 minutes later. Toast. Toast is, I'm not going to say toast is toast. It's not looking great, though. TPR, looking great, though. That's a nice looking setup right there. Beautiful stock, nice looking trend. Willing to throw something at that. Tesla? Not really. TSM? Not really. Twilio? No. Bullish dollar index. Well, it's eased up quite a bit, which is good. Here's Visa. Visa looks fabulous. Fabulous. Huh? VFC on the list. I think that looks tradable right there. And I've got some marks that I could use. I could say, hey, if it pulls back down to this level, 24.5-ish turns, I could put a trade on for 27 and another one on for 29, something like that. Yeah. Viking Cruises on my list, trying to hold up. Consumer discretionary, trying to hold at the 50. Looks good. Here's the VIX. You can see the VIX is pushing back up to the highs of Friday. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that much, but certainly some volatility here still. Walmart. Walmart went persona non grata very quickly. And XPEV. I like XPEV. If this gives a little pullback through here, I think we have something. We said that the flavor of the week is cautious. Cautious. I'm cautious, but I'm willing to trade. So let's watch the morning. Let's see how it settles, right? After the opening range. And if the buyers come in after lunch, I think there's a chance we might see something here. That's how I see it. What are your thoughts? Are you willing to trade? Are you in trades? Are you willing to trade? Are you... how are you feeling? What's the temperature check? Lastly, before we wrap it up today, let me get my trading plan outline. Here is section 6. It looks so easy. It's record keeping. Trade log, trade journal. Trade log, trade journal. In trades and willing to trade, Lee says. I love it, Lee. Lee's like, yeah, I'll put something in. I'll get some skin in the game. Okay, let's talk about trade log, trade journal. So, market option log. So, all of this trade log. This column R that says trade comments, trade journal. What does that mean, journal? Well, journal's for emotions, right? For you to be like, oh, I did this. I thought this was going to happen, but this, and I felt this way, and I thought it was strange, right? If the trade just didn't work, it just didn't work. If the trade did work, you don't really need to journal that necessarily. What you're thinking about what you're thinking about in that regard is what information might I want 3 to 6 months from now if I were to look backwards at this period of time and want relevant information to stand out. That's it. If you're like, hey, that was really weird, or hey, I had an epiphany about this, or when it triggers something, yeah, write it down. What was it? What triggered it? What is it? What are you thinking it might turn into, etc., etc. Otherwise, it's up to you how much you use that. But all you're doing is this is when you first take the trade. That's it. 7 columns. What's the symbol? What system are you using to build it? What type of trade is it? Is it long or short? What day did you put it on? What price did you take, and how many contracts? That really doesn't. I mean, if you're pretty organized, it should take you about a minute to fill that out. Pull up your Thinkorswim. Pull up the trade confirmation. You've got the date, the price, the contracts. Long and short's easy. Trade type's easy. Put the symbol. I mean, it takes you minutes. If you close it all at once, it takes you 30 seconds. It's right there. What price, how many, what date. If you sold half, what price, what date, how many, then you come here and you do the next one. And if you want to do 3, Steven posted. Is Steven here today? Steven posted a 3 trade exit. So that's it. Then what? If you're willing to do all of that, then you get this. And you might think, oh, is that really that helpful? Let's see if I have it. I don't have another one up. I'll show it. I'll show one filled out, pretty fleshed out, so you can see what it looks like maybe on Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night, we're going to talk about record keeping and analytics, but mostly record keeping. And we're going to do searching. We're going to do consumer discretionary. But at this point, this is a great time because if you're just getting started, people say, well, should I go back and do previous trades? I think you should have a starting point of at least 25 trades. So if you're just doing this for the first time, I would go backwards 25 and start from there. Now, I've had people where they did that. They went back 25, they started, and then they went back and did like 100 previous to that. Why? Because you learn. Because you're like, oh my God, when you have the numbers pointing things out about reward and risk and percentages, and you're like, man, it was hard, but I needed to see it. That's the kind of realization it can help give you. So get at least 25 and then get tracking. Track it for paper trades, track it for live trades. And make sure you're comparing to make sure you understand, are you losing anything in the transition from paper trading to live trading? Because I can tell you more often than not, people do, right? I've had people who they couldn't make the transition. They'd make money on paper, then they'd go live and just couldn't make that transition. Okay. That is record keeping. Any questions about section 6? So theoretically, trade log is section 6. Dashboard is section 7. Dashboard is analytics. This is the analytical work done for you for the most part. You just have to come in and process those analytics. Okay, well there it is. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Feeling okay. Not feeling great. Feeling okay. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can, get some momentum and bust out. And if we can, I'll get some trades on. If not, we'll just kind of keep an eye on it, see what we think. Good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you tonight for Q&A. But I'm probably not going to address the two things that we just flagged for Tuesday's session. I'm going to let Q&A dictate where we go tonight. So I'm going to start with live questions. This is at 6 p.m. My time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Jump in. If you have questions, we'll start there. If you don't, I'll go get questions from the Circle community, and we'll just have a chat. Thanks, everyone. It's good to see you. As always, happy trading.
Recording